Good evening, everyone. Great evening. Happy Wednesday. We back at it again, y'all. Marketing strategies that are overlooked. How to market your business, your brand, your event, or whatever poppin' event or poppin' product that you got or poppin' service that you got. How to market it to your audience, supporters, family, friends, and the people that are actually looking for what you do. So let's dive into it, you guys. So today, I'm going to be talking about SOPs. 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 Hey, all right. I ain't going to jump into it. So SOP stands for, so if you're tuning in, just take a minute to grab a notebook, right? Grab a notebook and just take notes, right? So SOPs stands for System Organizer for Processes. So when you have a business, when you have a great event coming up, if you are on a committee and you are planning an event, you need systems of organization. And SOPs is one way of making sure that you are marketing your business, service, or product efficiently. So let's define what SOPs are, right? So it refers to a structured method or processes and procedures used to manage and run systems effectively, right? So in a sense of business, it's making sure that your technology workflows run smoothly, hiring, onboarding is running smoothly, and it reduces downtime and insufficiencies. So when you think about it, if you have, of course, you have a business or you have an organization that you're running, you do outreaches, you do community events, there needs to be systems in place to make sure that you know when people come in, what they're going to do, what's the next step following after that, what they need to do after that, and so on and so forth, until the mission and the assignment is complete for that individual for actually joining in, coming on board, being a new hire, a new teammate for your business, organization, coming to support, whatever it is, they need to get a product from you. There's systems that we need to make sure and iron out as business owners, entrepreneurs. If you just out here as a leader, have systems. And I wanted to really kind of talk to people because there's different personality types, right? We got some people who just A's, like action, like pew, 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 right? They just be going, all right? They get stuff done. All right, but let's take some time to okay, let's pump the brakes a little bit and put some systems together. So that when your systems are in place, you know that you can kind of glance to the left or to the right and know that your systems is going to still run your business or still get your sales flowing. It's still going to get people actually submitting resumes for interviews for new hires and teammates and staff. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And all of it ties into how you market and making sure that your systems are in place. So as your business grows, as your team grows, as your staff grows, as your products become more of a variety, you have systems in place to make sure that they run smoothly and there's no bumps in the road hindering revenue. All right, because we don't want to hinder no revenue. We got to make sure the money's coming in because we work too hard. Okay, whether you got a career and you run a business, we need to make sure we're being profitable. And the SOPs helps you remain profitable because systems help work along with you as you are doing your service, doing your assignment, doing your calling, whatever it is that you're doing out in the community. You don't even got to have your own business right now. If you're a leader of any type of event, you got something to sell to people to make sure that they're getting value and benefiting from it, you need to have systems in place. All right. So here's a scenario, and I always want to share a scenario because it's kind of all right, put it into perspective, right? If you have a business, y'all, if I am greasy, Lord, I'm cool, I'm all right, but I just feel like I'm kind of just glowing. But anyway, so scenario, having a business, you want to take time to either hire people or you want to get someone to come on board to help you as an assistant or admin, or you need a lead director in a certain department, right? So, but you wind up spending more time answering questions to that person because they may not know or be aware of systems that are in place. So many people could probably relate to this. They've probably seeked out help and, may have gotten an assistant, gotten some teammates, got some staff, supporters to just come on board to help them. But there's nothing more discouraging. It can kind of hinder your energy and just your moods, right? When you have to continuously repeat things because we can forget things sometimes. If you're a new hire, if you're new on the team, you're a staff member, you might be new to it. So it's going to be like, okay, I need to refresh my memory. But as business owners, if you have systems in place, you can actually just run these things and have trainings. We're going to talk about a tip that can help. But having systems in place where imagine having a new hire and then all they have to do is go to a certain landing page and they have trainings just listed. Everything that you need to run your system from point A to B is already listed. Any questions? It should be, well, did you, look at that video? I answer all the questions there. Because when you have your systems in place, if you take the time to have a place where everyone that come into your business, anyone even as a client, right, we'll get into it, systems to make sure your systems are flowing efficiently. So the first example is a new hire. Having a place where they can come, they can learn, they can train. And it could be pre-recorded because if you are constantly teaching, you're constantly giving out the instructions and the go-to on how your business or your brand or this event is going to be going, imagine having something in place where as the people grow and they come on board, you send them to that page and they can take time to learn. And if they have any additional questions, they can come to you then. But I don't think it's anything that we should be spending too much time on because there's no system in place and now new hires or staff and teammates or whatever it may be are really, really can be, just unsure on what to do. So having systems organizing for your processes is super important. And that's one way that you market to your internal, right? Your team, the people that are helping you run your business. You may have supporters that can join you for an event or whatever the case may be. You need to know as the leader, as the business owner, as the entrepreneur, what your systems are. All right, so let's dive into clients, right? So you take the time, you have your product, you're going to take your time to create that brand, that t-shirt, those shoes, those hats, right? You got all the customized logos going on and you are ready to sell, right? What are your systems in place? How are you marketing that? And what's the flow? What's the chain of command when people are interested in your product or in your service? Having that mapped out and thorough, you guys. I'm talking taking the time. This is the reminder. Anytime I get up here, it's just like the reminder to have and look at your systems. Because if your systems are lagging, so is your revenue. Okay? So make sure we take the time to map out our systems. So when people see your product, your brand, your clothing line online, do I have to click your page and then am I redirected? Will somebody get lost? You know what I mean? Because what you want to make sure is that when it comes to marketing, and this is for clients, when you're getting people who are looking for the product or services that you are able to serve them with, you get new leads, and it's you want to make sure that each step is just as easy as a click of a button. They see your product and they need to click and be able to buy. They need to click and be able to join. They need to be able to click and be able to just set an appointment with you, right? Or get directly to a page where they can fill out an interview form or whatever, the resume that needs to be submitted and needs to go directly there. Having systems in place helps you make sure that, okay, I know when I get a new lead, they're going to go through step A, B, and C. It should be done. A, B, and C. Done. If it needs to go to C, right? Sometimes you can just see your flyer and then boom, you got it. You put your order in. Even better, right? But sometimes with hires or clients, it could be a little bit more, specifics. So making sure that your marketing is crystal clear. You don't want to have too many things where they have to, go to one page and then they got to go to another page, or they get lost, or they have to go to your website and actually scroll, or things like that. So having things like a landing page could help. A landing page is just a one, squeeze page of your information and services that you do. And whoever comes and visit, the one mission and the one objective for any traffic that's coming on your landing page is to make sure that they book that appointment, place that order, or, sign up for an interview. Okay. So that's really about mapping it out. So for new hires and teams and staff, we can have a landing page, so to speak, that has trainings, has what you would expect, what's the mission, and every step that the new hire as a teammate, as a staff needs to know in order to run with the business efficiently. And if it's a client, you need to make sure that you have a clear pathway. As I'm scrolling on social media, if I come across your website, am I going to get lost, or am I going to go straight to my page, or the page that's going to get me to the product that I just saw on social media while I was scrolling? So making it very, very, very simple is best, right? So you never want to have too much in the mix or not taking time to really analyze your systems, because things could get lost. Things could slip through the cracks. People that you may have come across on social media, you got DMs, you got people coming on, you're getting text messages, you're getting emails, and things get lost in the cracks because you don't have systems in place. SOPs is what we're talking about for marketing. Okay. So if you haven't, document all your steps down so you make sure that you don't have to apologize. You don't have to kind of like go back a few steps to get back to square one, right? You don't want to lose clients. You don't want to lose leads. You don't want to find people that are interested and they just get lost in the sauce, right? Because ultimately that's not good for your business, and it's not good for the people who actually need a solution that you can help them with, right? So we got to be very, very effective and take the time to look at our systems. Okay. And we talked about growth in your clientele. You're building, right? Your clientele is growing. You got to have systems in place so that nobody is going to miss any product. They're not going to miss their order. They're not going to miss a training. They're not going to miss an interview. Following up within your systems is important, right? So imagine having systems in place and you just don't know where they are in the system or in the process. For an example, let's say you have an interview process where, people submit their resume and then you want them to schedule their interview. They have their interview, then they need to get their documents signed and scheduled, background submitted, and then they come for orientation set. That was like a 4-step sequence. When you don't have SOPs in place, you may not know, okay, well, where is Tasha, or where is Brittany in the process of coming on board and being able to, work? Where are they? So having SOPs helps you to keep track of where people are. Keep track and imagine you have, tens of people really building up in your team. You want to make sure that you have a system that is easily adjusted, easily tracked, that can, make sure that you're efficient and you know what's going on. You know where each person is in the step. So imagine you're not leaving people in limbo. When you have SOPs in place, you're not leaving people in limbo. Imagine someone being stuck in a interview, submitting their resume and they're waiting to, get their interview booked, right? You see someone submitted their resume, you need to push them to get their interview. So it's all about having that in place and making sure that's in order too. Also, with clients, did they order their product? Did they make their payment? Did they get their receipt? Did they make sure that their product was delivered? Where are they in your systems to make sure that you're not kind of like leaving people in limbo too long? Can't leave them in limbo too long. Can't leave them in step A too long. Okay? And as humans, we be, baby, you probably doing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things. as a business owner, as an event planner, as an entrepreneur, because you have a personal life and you have a professional life. And guess what? We're human and we make human errors. But if we take the time to map out our system organizer for processes, we can kind of stay on top of everything as you grow, as your clientele grows, as your team and your staff grows, making sure that's in place. All right. So I hope this is really good. I know it's good because we need to be reminded, okay, to take the time to review, analyze. We're going to talk about this stuff as business owners and marketing, because all of that is marketing. You're marketing to new hires. If you have systems in place, like, oh man, imagine you coming on board to a new business. You be like, oh, you got hired at a new job, right? And they got their stuff intact. You can tell when people got their stuff intact. You're like, yeah, they pushed me through. They got me here. I ain't had to wait for nothing. And you realize if you've had an experience with a not so good employer or a system, you see where it could be lagging. You're like, man, they taking forever. I ain't been asking for this for a long time. I'm trying to review my documents that I need. People see that, and that's marketing. That's marketing. And you can lose people before they even get started. Same way with the clientele. You don't want to have a lot of refunds, or I didn't get my order, or this link isn't working, or the page is an error. I mean, technical difficulties happen. But to avoid the leads and the clients and the orders slipping and the sales slipping through the cracks, have those systems in place. Okay? Because the effects of not having it in place, there's a decline in customer satisfaction, which I just mentioned, right? Errors, poor service caused by overwhelmed operations can frustrate clients. It can frustrate your team. It can frustrate, new staff that you're hiring. People see it, right? And it's not to say that we're looking for perfection, but as a business owner and as you're growing, you want to make sure that these things are in place, because it is all marketing. It's not just marketing by what you post on social media. You're marketing to that person that has just interviewed to be on part of your staff. You're marketing to that person who just said, I want to buy something from you. If you see somebody, you got a good order, you can get a return, you got a good product, you got a receipt, your constant communication. You're like, oh, okay, I know I can reach them if I need to talk to them. That's marketing. That's marketing. So just let us remember that. Let us remember that. Another effect of not having SOPs in place is employee burnout and turnover. Yeah. So as we are building our business, we have to build a team. We have to have staff as our business grows. But if the system isn't in place, people wind up doing so many different things. You ever been in an environment or even planning like a committee? You've been on a committee and it's like only a few people, got to do most of the things. You can't avoid that type of stuff. But nonetheless, imagine without a system and it's just like, oh, you're here, so go ahead and do that. Or, oh, you showed up, so, can you take care of this? I know it happens, but let's be more thorough with systems, because you don't want to burn out your employees, your volunteers, your staff, your teammates. You don't want to burn them out, right? And then it's a turnover. Then you're going to have to rehire. And then if the system's not improved, at least, we learn. Business owners, we learn. Entrepreneurs, you learn. Putting on an event, we learn. Doing an outreach, you learn. Okay? However, let's always improve the systems the next go round. Let's make sure we're going to improve with our systems to make sure that our processes are working with us and not against us and not against our team. We don't want to burn people out, So your staff don't want to become overworked trying to meet increasing demands because we're growing, right, without the systems in place. So low morale and higher turnover is going to affect your business terribly. And I'm just here as the reminder, as you're growing, as you're going, right? Take the time to pause, to plan. Pause and plan. It's okay. Pause and plan. Plan. Pause. All right. Anyway, next effect is stunned growth and missed opportunities. if we don't have the systems in place, you guys, if we don't have a good engine that is kind of being, you got to get a new oil change. Come on, you got to get a new oil change. You need to change your oil, right? That oil may be a little dark. You may be kind of rusty. You need some new oil, all right? Because you don't want to stunt the growth of your business. You don't want to get so high on momentum, so high on you're reaching people, you're connecting with people, and then it just kind of like, wait a minute, they falling through the cracks. Like it's here, but then people just, boom, they're here, but they're not sticking, right? You don't want to have missed opportunities. You're like, wait a minute, didn't so-and-so just message me on Facebook, or was it LinkedIn? Or was it my text message? Did I see the email? All of this stuff, y'all, it's real. And you're not alone. You're not alone. You're trying to remember, where did you get that message? Was it my text message? Did I talk to her on the phone? All right, let me just go back. Dang. Then the night go by, right? I could be guilty as charged. Sometimes like the night go by, like, dang, I was supposed to text so-and-so. I'll text them in the morning. No, let's get these systems in process so that it can be efficiently running. Even if we forget as humans. Understand, there's human error. Okay? So we're going to talk about these systems that can help us. All right. So without scaling your operations, your business can struggle. So you got to scale your business. You got to scale your growth. And you just got to make sure that what you're doing is working efficiently and making sure that people are going through. They're going through the process, right? You don't want to have any missed sales or poor onboarding. Onboarding. You don't want to have poor systems on, your new hires. So making sure that stuff is in place. So, all right, you said, Jess, all right, you gave me all the bad stuff. So what can I do to have systems in place? Number one, pause and plan. Pause and plan. Pause and review. Pause and review. Take the time to get down to the bottom of things, making sure that you have the very foundation. So just take the time. Do it quarterly if you need to. If it's not monthly, you know what I mean? Do a monthly and review. Just look back. If your numbers are little, your numbers are small right now, okay, good. Track it. So when you grow, you know where you started from. Know your numbers. Know your numbers. So one tip that we can do is making sure that when you teach, you guys, man, we have so much knowledge and wisdom and expertise on these things. Record yourself. Record yourself. And then have a landing page where all of your teachings, all of your systems are in place to build up your training landing page. And that's how you have your onboarding training and information and questions, Q&A, all of that good stuff. Just record yourself, right? Screen record any systems and processes that you need to do. You can literally screen record on your laptop. Save it as a recording. Say, hey, this is what you do. You go here, you click here. You can do things like that, right? You can definitely do things like that. So if you find yourself repeating things, just leverage training videos. Leverage it, right? So I just want to, if you come across this video, just let me know. I'm going to implement. Like, put in the comments, like, I'm going to implement something. I'm going to implement this. I'm going to pause and plan. Let me know in the chats. When y'all see this replay, just let me know. Give me some feedback. So some of the solutions, let's just have a checkoff list for the team, have a checkoff list for your staff, and have checkoff lists for your clientele, where they are. You can see where they need to be pushed, making sure that the sale was complete, making sure that they got their receipt, and continue to follow up with them. Because you don't want to just, of course, leave your client after they purchase. You want to make sure you have systems. What's your follow-up SOP? What's your follow-up SOP? Take the time to think about that. How do you follow up with people? How do you follow up with people? How much are we communicating with them, and not necessarily just calling them and texting them or manually emailing them? Once somebody has invested into your business and service, how are you following up with them? Do you have to manually call them or text them? Right? There's systems out here where you can do automation, AI, and make it much more easier for yourself and your clients, your supporters, even new people who have been interested but haven't made a purchase, haven't they haven't sent in their resume. Follow up with them. hey, yeah, I see you were interested, but there's not manually. I'm not saying do that manually. There's software is in place for that. So, that's what we're going to talk about here. And that really concludes it all today. So the tips is to make sure that you pause and plan. And 2, make sure that you have your processes for incoming staff and incoming clients, and have a follow-up system as well, right? So you guys, that's all I have for today. Make sure we got the SOPs, because guess what? It's marketing. It's marketing before they even come on board. It's marketing before they even are a part of your team. It's marketing before they even join the outreach moment. It's marketing before your client even submits their order. We know that part, right? So let me know, you guys. Make sure you put it in the chat that I'm going to pause the plan, and make sure that I have my systems organizer for processes in place. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.